Hello, everyone, and welcome back to another episode of the English Learning Podcast. I'm Brain, your host, and as always, I'm joined by Anna. Hi, Anna.
Hi, Brain, and hello to all our amazing listeners around the world. We're so happy to have you with us today.
Absolutely. Whether you're listening on your way to work during a walk or maybe while relaxing at home, thank you for spending this time with us.
Today's episode is a really important one. We're going to talk about something that almost every English learner struggles with at some point, speaking confidently.
Yes. And, Anna, I think a lot of learners feel this. They study hard, they learn grammar vocabulary, but when it's time to speak, suddenly they feel nervous, shy, or they just go blank.
Exactly. And sometimes learners ask us, why can't I speak confidently? What's wrong with me? And the good news is, nothing is wrong with you. Confidence isn't magic. It's something we can build.
That's right. In today's episode, we're going to explore why so many learners feel this lack of confidence. We'll look at the reasons, the psychology behind it, and most importantly, we'll give you some practical steps to help you speak English with confidence.
And as always, we want you to feel like you're part of this conversation. So as you listen today, ask yourself, do I feel confident when I speak English? If not, why?
Great point. And stay tuned until the end, because we'll also share a simple confidence challenge that you can try right after this podcast.
Okay, are you ready, Brain?
I'm ready. Let's dive in. So, Anna, before we talk about why people don't feel confident, let's start with a simple question. What does speaking confidence actually mean?
That's a great starting point. I think a lot of learners believe speaking confidently means speaking perfectly. No grammar mistakes, no hesitation, big vocabulary.
Yeah, but that's not really true, is it? Speaking confidently isn't about perfection. It's about feeling comfortable enough to express your ideas, even if you make a few mistakes along the way.
Exactly. Think about native speakers. Even they make mistakes, they pause, they say, or, but they keep going. That's confidence, the courage to speak and keep going no matter what.
Right. And it's also about trusting yourself. When you trust that you can communicate, people will understand you. Even if your grammar isn't perfect, even if you don't use fancy words, you can still connect with others.
I like that. Confidence is more about communication than perfection.
Maybe it's helpful to think about two learners. Imagine one learner who knows a lot of English words but feels scared to speak. They stay silent. The other learner knows fewer words, but they smile. They use their hands. They communicate. Who seems more confident?
Definitely the second learner, because confidence is something people feel from you. It's in your body language, your tone, your willingness to speak.
Absolutely. So speaking confidence means you speak, even if you're nervous. You focus on sharing your message, not on every little grammar rule. You accept small mistakes as part of learning. Absolutely. So speaking confidence means you speak, even if you're nervous. You focus on sharing your message, not on every little grammar rule. You accept small mistakes as part of learning.
And when you do that, when you allow yourself to speak and make mistakes, guess what? Your confidence starts to grow.
Yes. So now that we've talked about what confidence is, let's look at why so many learners struggle with it. Okay, Anna, now that we understand what speaking confidence really means, let's talk about something I think many of our listeners will connect with. Why do so many learners struggle with it?
Yes, there are actually several reasons, and I think we should break them down one by one. Let's start with maybe the biggest one, fear of making mistakes.
Ah, yes, that's such a common one. A lot of learners tell me they know the words, they know the grammar, but they're scared of saying something wrong.
Right? And what happens? Because they're so focused on avoiding mistakes, they don't speak at all. Or they speak very little and very slowly because they're checking every word in their head before saying it.
Exactly. And that fear actually stops them from improving. Because speaking is how we learn, not by being silent.
I always remind learners, everyone makes mistakes when learning a language. Everyone. Mistakes don't mean failure, they mean you're trying, and that's how you grow.
Okay, so fear of mistakes is a big one. What's next?
Another reason is negative past experiences or criticism. Maybe a learner tried to speak English once, and someone laughed at them or corrected them in a rude way.
Oh, yes. That can really hurt confidence. I remember one student told me they tried to speak in class, and the teacher kept interrupting them to correct every small mistake. After that, they were too nervous to try again.
Exactly. And those experiences stick in our mind, so next time we try to speak, we remember that bad moment and we feel afraid.
Okay, so fear of mistakes and bad past experiences. What about comparing yourself to others?
Oh, that's a big one too. It's so easy to look at other learners who seem to speak so fluently and think I'm not good enough.
Yes, but what we forget is we don't see their journey. Maybe they've been practicing for years. Maybe they're nervous inside too, but they hide it well.
Exactly. Comparing yourself just makes you feel small and it kills your motivation. The only person you need to compare yourself to is yesterday's you.
Brilliant point. And there's another big reason: overthinking grammar or vocabulary.
Yes, learners often try to build the perfect sentence in their mind before they speak. They're thinking about verb tenses, prepositions, word order, and then they get stuck.
Right. The brain can only hold so much at one time. When we overthink, we freeze, and the conversation moves on without us.
I always tell learners communication first, grammar second. Get your idea out even if the grammar isn't perfect. The more you speak, the better your grammar will become over time.
So let's quickly summarize those common reasons. Fear of making mistakes, negative past experiences, comparing yourself to others, overthinking, grammar or vocabulary.
And if you're listening right now and thinking, that's me, don't worry. You're not alone. Almost every learner faces these challenges.
Exactly. And the good news is we can work on all of these. We're going to talk about that soon. But first, let's explore what's happening inside our brain when we feel nervous about speaking. All right, Anna. Now that we've talked about the common reasons learners feel a lack of confidence, let's go a little deeper. Let's talk about what's actually happening inside our brain when we feel nervous about speaking.
Yes! This part is so interesting. You see, when we're about to speak English, especially in front of other people, our brain starts checking for danger.
That's right, and the part of the brain that does this is called the amygdala. It's like our brain's alarm system.
Exactly. The amygdala's job is to protect us. So when we feel unsure or scared, maybe we're afraid of making a mistake or of being judged, the amygdala sends out a signal. Warning, this is dangerous.
And what happens then? Our body reacts. Maybe your heart starts beating faster. Your mouth feels dry. Your hands feel sweaty. Your mind goes blank.
Yes, it's called the fight, flight, or freeze response. The brain thinks, should I fight? Should I run away? Or should I just freeze and do nothing?
And of course, in a conversation, we can't really run or fight, so often we just freeze. We can't find the words, and that makes us feel even more nervous.
That's so true. And it's important to understand, this is not because you're bad at English or not smart enough. It's just your brain trying to protect you.
Yes, it's a natural human reaction. But the good news is we can train our brain to feel safe when we speak English.
And that's what we'll be talking about very soon. How to calm that alarm system and how to build real speaking confidence.
Before we do that, though, let's take a look at some of the real-life situations that often trigger this nervous feeling. All right, Anna. Now that we know what happens inside the brain when we feel nervous, let's talk about some real-life situations that can kill our confidence.
Yes, brain. These are the little moments that add up and make us feel afraid to speak. For example, have you ever had a teacher who corrects you all the time, maybe in a way that feels harsh or impatient?
Oh, definitely. I've seen that happen a lot. When a teacher interrupts every sentence to fix grammar or pronunciation, it can make learners feel embarrassed or scared to try.
Exactly. Instead of feeling encouraged, learners start thinking, if I say something wrong, I'll be judged. That fear builds over time.
And it's not just teachers. Sometimes friends or classmates laugh or tease when someone makes a mistake. Even if it's a joke, it hurts a learner's confidence.
Right. And then there's the situation of speaking with native speakers. Many learners feel worried they'll be judged or misunderstood, so they avoid conversations.
Yeah, the fear of being not good enough around native speakers is real. But what learners don't realize is native speakers are usually patient and happy when you try to speak their language.
Absolutely. These little experiences, harsh corrections, teasing fear of judgment, slowly chip away at our confidence.
So the big question is, how do we stop letting these daily confidence killers hold us back?
We'll get to that soon. But first, let's clear up some myths about confidence that many learners believe.
Anna. Before we jump into how to build confidence, I think it's important to talk about some common myths that learners believe, myths that actually hold them back.
Definitely, brain. The first myth I hear a lot is I need perfect grammar to be confident. What do you think about that?
That's a big one. Many learners feel they can't speak confidently until their grammar is flawless. But the truth is, confidence comes from communication, not perfection. Mistakes are natural and expected.
Exactly. Another myth is only extroverts can speak confidently. But confidence isn't about being loud or outgoing. Even quiet people can speak clearly and confidently. It's about believing in your message.
Yes. And here's one more: I have to be fluent before I can be confident. This one is tricky because it feels like confidence should come after fluency. But really, confidence and fluency grow together. You get more fluent by practicing confidently, even if you make mistakes.
So true. Breaking these myths can free learners from unnecessary pressure. Confidence is something you build step by step, not something you wait for.
Absolutely. So if you've believed any of these myths, today's a good day to let them go. Absolutely. So if you've believed any of these myths, today's a good day to let them go.
Yes, tips that anyone can start using today. So what's the first step?
I think the most important tip is start small. Don't try to speak in long, complicated sentences right away. Start with short phrases or simple sentences. For example, talk about your day in just 2 or 3 sentences.
That's so helpful. When learners start small, it feels less scary, and they can build up without feeling overwhelmed. What's next?
Second, speak out loud every day, even if you're alone. It might feel strange at first, but talking to yourself in English helps your mouth get used to the sounds and your brain get used to thinking in English.
Yes, and it's also a great way to practice without fear of judgment. You can repeat sentences, try new words, or even describe what you see around you.
Another tip is to record yourself and listen back. This can be a little scary, but it's one of the best ways to hear your mistakes and your progress. Sometimes you'll notice you sound better than you thought.
And when you listen back, focus on the good parts first. Your clear pronunciation, your ideas before worrying about small mistakes.
Absolutely. Another important tip is to join safe, supportive speaking groups or communities. Whether it's an online group, a language exchange, or a local class, practicing with people who are patient and encouraging makes a huge difference.
Yes, when you feel safe, you're more likely to take risks and try new things.
And here's a mindset tip: shift your focus from perfect English to communication. The goal is to be understood, not perfect. If you focus on sharing your ideas, confidence will naturally grow.
That's so powerful. Also, remember that confidence comes with practice. The more you speak, the easier it gets.
One last tip: celebrate small wins. Every time you speak a sentence out loud or have a short conversation, give yourself credit. Confidence builds with positive reinforcement.
I love that. So, to summarize, start small. Speak out loud daily. Record and listen. Join supportive groups. Focus on communication, not perfection. Celebrate your progress.
Exactly. If you do these things regularly, your confidence will grow step by step. Hello, my name is Brain. I like to learn English, but sometimes I'm not sure if I'm saying it right.
Hi, brain. That's great. Don't worry about mistakes. Just say it like you feel it. Try again.
Hello, my name is Brain, and I love learning English. Sometimes I make mistakes, but that's okay because I'm practicing.
See? That sounds so much better. The words are clearer and you sound confident.
Yeah, I feel better already. I'm focusing on sharing my message, not being perfect.
Exactly. Confidence comes from trying and not giving up even if you feel nervous inside. All right, brain, now it's time to help our listeners create their own speaking confidence plan.
Yes, a simple plan they can start today. So what's the first step?
Step 1. Set small speaking goals. For example, say 3 sentences out loud every day about your day, your plans, or anything you like.
Great. Step 2. Practice speaking for just 2 minutes a day. It doesn't have to be long. Even 2 minutes can make a big difference over time.
And step 3. Celebrate your progress. Every time you speak, give yourself a little mental high five. You're building confidence with every word.
I love it. Small steps, daily practice, and positive rewards. That's how confidence grows.
Exactly. So listeners, take a moment now and think, what will your 3 sentences be today?
And remember, you're not alone on this journey. We're here with you every step of the way. Well, Anna, we've covered a lot today why confidence is so important, the reasons it can be hard, and practical tips to help our listeners speak with more confidence.
Yes, and remember, confidence doesn't come overnight. It's a journey and every small step counts.
So here's today's challenge for all our listeners: speak 3 sentences out loud in English today. It can be about your day, your plans, or anything you like.
Don't worry about mistakes, just focus on speaking. Then come back and tell us how it went in the comments below.
We'd love to hear your stories and support you. Thanks for listening, and until next time, keep speaking, keep growing.
Bye, everyone.